People are having sadistic pleasure in killing beings who are completely helpless. This is not humanity, this is not humanness. I think it's our responsibility. I always tell everybody who comes to me to respect life, our life and all lives. This is part of our ethics of life. For me, morality simply means non-violence. We should live and let others live. And all the beings of earth have the same right on earth, just like us. This is not just a human world. Because we have the advantage of intelligence and imagination, we have created a lot of things on earth. But we did not really grow up to unite all these for the welfare of all beings. We just only focused on human welfare. And it's not necessarily human welfare. It's that by consuming things which are unnatural for us, we are destroying ourselves. So the animal protection is our responsibility, not even our right. I do not believe in animal rights versus human rights. I just say being right. Being right is very important because it's not a favor we are doing towards other species. It's not a favor at all. It's a responsibility. So there is no question of favor anywhere. And as human beings, the highest expression that we can ever have is inclusiveness, where every being is valued, respected. And I always think, and I speak about this also around the world, that every creation has its uniqueness. So if we understand that uniqueness, we can never destroy it. So it's important to pay attention, listen to their feelings. And feelings are great language. The best language is feeling, not the words. Words are sometimes distorted or misinterpreted, misunderstood. But feelings are real and they are always truthful. For example, hunger is a feeling. Thirst is a feeling. Sleep is a feeling. That's truthful always. So everything that the nature conveys to us consistently through various birds, animals, insects, ecology, plants and trees, we got to listen to it. Then we cannot destroy anything. Nobody is voiceless. They all have their system of communication. Between them they communicate. But many languages we don't understand. If somebody speaks Greek, maybe we don't understand that. Or another language we don't understand. Just like that, various species communicates in their own languages which we don't understand. But that doesn't mean there's no validity for it. There is a value, there is a validity. We must respect it. It's a culture of respect that we must cultivate today. As civilized human beings, if we call ourselves civilized, we should bring forth the respect into our system. Respecting everything, every being, all have the same right. That's the highest of human expressions. The other part is greed, anger, hatred, possessiveness, ownership. That's all the smallest aspect of human existence. The higher aspects are kindness, compassion, selflessness, unconditional love, non-violence. This expands you. What expands the human consciousness are these aspects, the greater aspects of human life. And all of us have the right to experience those aspects. But we unfortunately get trapped into the lesser emotions such as comparisons and competitions and selfish greed-based existence. So we have to come out of it to experience the higher aspect of our existence. So kindness is a very, very essential part of it. Being kind for no reason. Just because we love the state of expansion. That if you are expecting anything, it's polluted. Any expectation pollutes a relationship. But when we are kind, because we love to be in that state of expansion, that makes us beautiful, elegant in life. So kindness is elegance. Zero rights. It's a complete misunderstanding and representation of humanity or humanness to own, capture, conquer, torture, kill animals or any beings for that matter. Even when we start shedding blood of any being, we will also start shedding blood of our species, which we see in the world. Why do we have so many wars and bloodsheds and insensitivity, indifference? This is all because we do not care about our own species, because we are used to not caring about other species. And many times we consider other species as nuisance. And that's complete ignorance. So the whole idea of owning something is coming out of ignorance. We can't even own this body, our body. We have a duration, birth and death. We are within these boundaries. And while we are living this life, the best way is to have great experiences, great memories. That's the only thing we have. Whatever we have in this world, we can't own it. So what you can take out of it are great memories and great experiences. And that should come from sharing, caring, loving, unconditionally. So this is exactly what we should do all the time. And the other side is trying to own something. How long will you own? We can't own anything on earth. We can only experience things from earth. So allow every being to be themselves, to be their natural selves, and just let them be. And we live peacefully ourselves, so that when we deliver peace to everything around us, we will also be peaceful. What you sow, that you reap. So it is important for us to cultivate this culture of sharing and delivering and allowing everybody to be peaceful, every being. When I say everybody, I look at all animals and all species as individuals. They have a character, they have a distinct constitution, they have a relevance on earth, and there is a space for them. And it's not the same as any other. There are not even two buffaloes alike. Every species are a unique creation. So we must respect the uniqueness in us and outside us. And there is no need for any kind of imitation. There's no need for any kind of comparison. We just respect every life. And breeding something for our palate's sake itself is ignorance. Well, I was not aware of the dairy industries and all these things, because many of these things were not really visible in the world. But many years ago, I think at least 20 years ago, somebody sent me certain pictures of pregnant cows being slaughtered. And then that person wrote to me that this is a common practice, that complete disrespect of human life. I always had a great respect for motherhood, not just human motherhood, all motherhood. Means I always believed that this is the great relationship, a mother and child. One of the greatest relationships, one of the most profound relationships of human life or any life is the relationship between a mother and child. So I always respected it. When I saw this, it was a big shock for me that a fully pregnant cow is slaughtered and the calf is taken out as garbage from the womb, which was completely unacceptable to me. That's when I stopped accepting anything from the animals for my consumption. And then when I understood that every animal is treated this way, then it was very, very, in fact, it was confusing in the beginning, but then very much against my ethics. I decided even if it is legal, it is not ethical, and neither is it moral. So many things which are legal are not ethical nor moral. And what we talk about morality is completely superficial. Our level of morality is completely superficial. Especially, we don't have any right to talk about morality when we do these things, killing beings who are pregnant and things like that. Then I detached from the food which is associated to animals first. Then I decided I will have only the consensual kind of food. Like, for example, an apple is plucked from the tree is not hurt. Or a tomato does not destroy the tree, the plant. Like that, we have many options on this planet to survive without hurting anybody. So that is one of the things. Then medicine stuff, when I understood that many materials that we use, like unconsciously, like a shampoo or even a painkiller, etc., has been tested on animals, helpless animals. Especially when I saw the pictures and the videos of primates being experimented on, it was so terrible for me. I couldn't even eat food that day when I saw these things. I couldn't understand, or I couldn't really fathom the depth of the pain which we are inflicting on the helpless creatures, the helpless lots of our existence, which was completely unnatural for me, unethical for me. And then I said, see, I don't have anything to do with this kind of stuff, because this is not at all natural. People are having sadistic pleasure in killing beings who are completely helpless. This is not humanity, this is not humanness. We can't really inflict such wounds on beings. So first is the industry, the food industry, which completely is totally indifferent about animals, birds, etc. Then the other industries which are equally indifferent, and they just use it for profits. And the primates experiment on dogs and cats and rabbits, etc. The shampoos and the cosmetics, etc. This was all unnatural for me, and I decided I will have nothing to do with it. Then when I started speaking in the world, I came, when I was talking to the world, these are some of the things which I spoke. I wrote about this before, then I spoke about this, and so many people understood this, or they connected to this. They said, oh, yeah, this is exactly what we have been feeling. But many of them were not even aware of it. Not many people were aware of it. So it's important that the awareness should reach the children, the youngsters. Not that they should be shocked by seeing this, but to tell them, look here, the food that you eat, somebody has died for that. Somebody has been killed. Somebody means a personality has been destroyed just for the food that's on your plate. Things like that they should know. And if they still want to consume, nobody can help it. You know, that's because it's available. But at least with awareness, not unconsciously. That's the highest. Ahimsa is definitely the highest of human civilization, where we do not have to hurt any being for our sake or for our pleasure's sake. Either it is palate or our emotion or mind's sake, like capturing animals for entertainment, or holding them for entertainment, and manipulating them and making them play things out of fear. We don't need all this. That's not us, you know. That's not human beings. Human beings are supposedly, if we are a human being, we are using our intelligence for our existence. Because unlike other beings, they have been given the skin and the materials to survive. But for us, we have to use our intelligence to survive, and imagination. So if we are calling ourselves human beings, we have to show this to the world through our compassion and kindness and stuff. So non-violence is one of the primary or the basic foundation of this. The basic foundation is non-violence. No violence in thoughts, no violence in expressions, no violence in actions, in 3 levels. But at the same time, you can definitely do self-protection. That's fine. If somebody comes to attack you, of course you can defend yourself. That's okay. But who are we targeting our violence on? Helpless beings who cannot express anything. They are completely helpless. This is totally against our civilization, the so-called civilization, or what we are. So we are expressing to the world what we are, consciously or unconsciously. We cannot express anything else. Each individual is expressing themselves to the world. So it's important that we cultivate this culture of non-violence from school level, and should be rewarded for being non-violent. Even if somebody abuses you or angry with you, you can always reply with compassion. This should be translated into every walks of our life, every activity, especially about food. We pay a lot of importance to food today in the world. Food is a big deal. Of course, food is important, but food is not more important than ethics. In this context, of course, food is for survival. Ethics is our stability, the ground we are standing on. And one of the major things about ethics is non-violence in any level. And once we have no problem to kill an animal, we will have no problem to kill a man. Because we are used to spilling blood. When we are used to spilling blood, we will do everything possible. And also, what comes inside our body, we are treating our body as a graveyard of various animals. And that's not good for our body. Our body is affected. It's screaming, but we are not listening to the body. And sometimes insensitivity happens because conscience is affected anyway. When conscience is killed one time, then conscience stops responding. Initially, like many people do not even understand that the meat is from an animal which is dead. Some children doesn't know this. So this is so camouflaged, so much like a happy cow's picture and a meat. So cow loves to give you some meat. That effect is created. It's a complete manipulation of the whole thing, of our life structure. And I don't call this civilization. I call this a totally opposite of it. Completely opposite of it. So the point I'm saying is that ahimsa, non-violence, should be our ground, the ground we stand on. Then everything else can be ethical, truthful, moral, and it can just spring out of unconditional love from us. I really do not know when, but it's definitely more than 20 years. But the reason why I said was that, as I said earlier, the pain and the confusion which I saw in the pictures, which animals go through while they are being handled. I would like to use the word handled because they are not treated as living beings normally. That made me decide I will have nothing to do with it. I will not have anything to do with it, because this is sponsoring crime. For me, it was like I'm paying to maintain crime, which is definitely not my cup of tea. I can't do that. I believed in non-violence always. Right from much younger age, I was completely against violence in thoughts, words, and expressions. But when I saw that there is a paid structure of violence which are invisible, and that's polluting the frequency of earth. It's not just an activity by itself. There is a repercussion to it. And the entire world is capturing, torturing, killing animals, birds, beings of the water. I decided there is no way I can support this. So I chose to follow a diet which is not at all violent. Of course, we have to consume something, but we can choose to consume things which does not affect our system. Psychosomatic system, not just body, the mind also. Because even if you are not aware that some of the food has violence behind it, when we consume, as we start meditating, you'll start feeling it. Something is wrong in the system. Something is not happening. My focus is not clear. Even with milk or any of the dairy products and stuff, because there is a calf craving for it, which we are using. So all these, the separation of mother and child it was a very, very big pain for me. For me, it was unethical, unnatural, and unacceptable. Yeah. So when these things were happening, I decided I will not sponsor these. I cannot do these. So then I came out of the system. And please remember, those days vegan products were not easy to get. But we had many options to choose from. Like there are so many vegetables available, so many things you can create out of it. And every place you go, you can find some way. How do we? And I came out of eggs also. Everything connected to animals and birds I came out of completely. And even now in all my programs, we only serve vegan. We don't have anything to do with animal products at all. That's exactly how we operate. And that's in 6 continents. So wherever we go, we talk about it. It is not inflicting or imposing anything. It is giving the awareness of the necessity to be human beings. Real human beings. When I say human beings, we cannot be violent. We cannot inflict hurt on anybody, nobody, hurting nobody, and living and letting others to live. All these things. So that people understand and people resonate with it. So we created that kind of a particular network. I call them family. All people in my world are my family members. So Mohanji family has all these this understanding. Everybody has this. So that's the reason why I decided to be I decided to follow a diet which has nothing to do with violence of any nature. So I didn't even know the vegan name or aspect about it. I just thought that it can't have violence. We have consumption in 3 or 4 different ways. One is the consumption through the body, the food. Another is through the emotion, the mind. Then another is through the informations we consume in our intellect. And then the fourth is the personality matters, the things related to our personality that we consume through our ego. All these are consumptions. We should have an alignment to all this. So when you see violence or in the pictures, etc., where animals are slaughtered, etc., we have consumed that information already. And we can't just neglect it. If you neglect it, then whatever we consume also comes into that kind of a frequency. So to maintain a higher frequency, we have to be aligned in body, mind, intellect and ego, all same. And what we consume affects all 4 in every level, one way or the other. So this is important to have that balance always, to have clarity. This is not my cup of tea, this is not what I want, because I'm a human being, I'm not a graveyard. I would say it's unnatural, completely unnatural to take the milk of any animal for our sake. This animal is, all animals are producing the milk for their child or their children. So it's good for them. For us, we have experienced a lot of intolerance to various products, animal products. That's because it's not natural for us. We should be consuming what is natural for us. The mother's milk, human mother's milk, is the best for the human child. We sometimes deny it and give them things which are unnatural, and the child is affected. Many of the diseases today are caused by chemicals. Chemicals have created many situations. So it's not at all natural for us to take any animal's milk for our sake. It should be given to the child of that animal. A calf deserves to have the milk of its mother cow. And it's the same with goats, yaks, any animals in the world where people use them for milk or milk products, this is not natural. This is terribly unnatural and unethical. And what milk are we getting? Agony, pain, suffering. This is in the white liquid. It's only white liquid. But what are the ingredients? Agony, pain, suffering, and death also. So it's not milk, it's blood in white. For me, I look at it that way. We should have a body which is clean and pure. Then only we'll have a good life. Otherwise, what are we seeing in the world today? Psychosomatic diseases, depressions, various kinds of imbalances of our system. And this all connected to the food we consume and what we consume. The more indifferent we are, the more we suffer. So this is unnatural that we are. It's unimaginably unethical for me. Yeah, because to impregnate a cow for the sake of producing milk and taking the calf away from the mother, which is very painful. That's why I said in the beginning that I always believe in motherhood, because motherhood is such a precious state, and that is completely destroyed, or it's manipulated by human beings. This is not good for the energy of the world, the frequency and the vibrations of the world. This is not good. Anywhere victimization happens, it leaves a residue of discontentment, violence, and further violence, murder, bloodshed. All these things will follow. From what I have understood, I don't eat eggs, but what I have understood is that the hens are captives, they are slaves. They are producing egg every day, which is basically their periods. And this is what we in a glorified way we consume as a good nutrition in our life, which is, I would call it bizarre. And the hen cannot, when it cannot lay eggs, it's killed. So again, the cycle of violence, cycle of unethics, lack of ethics, this is going on continuously. And we are completely insensitive about it. We are not told about it. We don't know about it. And so many products that we consume, which if we don't check the list or the ingredients, there are ingredients of egg in it, or ingredients of animal products in it. And it's camouflaged in many things. Forget about that. What really affects me are the chicks, the small birds, 1 day old or even lesser than a day old, crushed because they cannot lay eggs. The industry is the height of cruelty, the height of violence is the crushing of these small birds who are supposed to live. First of all, they are bred. They are manufactured in incubators and stuff. And then they are killed even before they could see sunlight or they could breathe. And this is, what is this called? It's human insensitivity. This is not being human. It's actually being something else. Inhuman it is. It is completely inhuman. So the egg industry is also responsible for the murder of millions of chicks. Like the dairy industry is responsible for the murder of millions of calves. And they are completely worthless. But for the mother, that's the most precious thing. For the mother cow, the calf is the most precious thing. It will give anything to have time with the calf. But for humans, for us, we have no value for it. See the difference here. The lack of ethics, lack of sensitivity, and also people only see the meat on the plate. They don't see the murder behind it. So they are pretty comfortable with having the meat, but there is a big industry which is murdering behind it. See, we look at human life as a very precious thing. For the medical industry, death is a disaster, or death means failure. They want to keep everybody alive. But we don't use the same criteria for any other species. We have a completely different standards for human species and other species. Until we have one standard for everybody, there won't be happiness, peace, and stability on earth. This is my conviction. We should have the same standard for all beings across the board. It doesn't matter whether they are from the water or in the air or on earth. It doesn't matter. Every being should have the same standards, same laws, everything same. They have the right. And so many of them cannot go to the court, but we should represent them. We should talk for them. It's not even activism I'm talking about. It's basic ethics I'm talking about. Even write about it, tell about it. Hey, look here, this is what I feel. Not even making videos or things, but in our way, everybody can do something. All the people who listen can do something about it. Talk about it. You can use a blog or write about it, send a picture. Anything they can do to spread this message around, to bring ethics back to life. Ethics should come back to life. Ethics first, morality first. We take care of all beings of earth, and that expands us as human beings. That's our very right to be human. It's not the rights that we use for other things. Our right is to be the highest possibility of a human life. That we must express. Basically, I do not use anything which are from animals, so that I do not want to partner in any of these crimes, because the skin of an animal was precious to the animal. We ripped it apart from it. And in some countries like China, they eat almost every animal, every being. That we saw during the COVID time, some wet markets and stuff, which was alarming. So the skin is ripped out of these beings, and we are using them as our precious something, which makes no sense to me. We don't need all this to be good in the world. It's an attitude, it's our mind. To be beautiful, we don't need anybody's skin, anybody's anything to be beautiful. We have a beauty inside. We all are beautiful. And that beauty should shine forth from within. By being kind to animals, being compassionate in the world, protecting. It's our right to protect, because if we are using our intelligence to have self-protection, it's also important to protect other beings of the world, all beings. And I do not even believe that there is a species difference in this context. All are equally to be protected, everybody to be nurtured. But if you look at the whole world, like the forests, the jungles, there are so many deers and so many lions and so many tigers and stuff, but they are not contradicting. See, for example, a lion does not eat every day. It takes time before it digests its food and stuff like that. And the deer knows very well that the lions can eat. The deer runs for its life. The lion runs for the food. So while the deer runs for the life, if the deer has conviction and confidence, he will win. If the lion has conviction and confidence, the lion will win. But there is some kind of harmony in this. There is some kind of a nature's equilibrium in it. Not like us. We do canned hunting. We capture animals and we breed them to be killed. And the animals who are bred by human beings are familiar with human beings. So when the hunters come, they wouldn't know that they are going to kill them. They walk towards the hunter and the hunters kill them. And the lions are surprised that why are they killing me? Why are they doing this? Terrible betrayal. We betrayed animals in the whole human history, if you take, we have betrayed every species. And then still we call us civilized human beings. There is a mismatch here. There is something not right here. So we got to be aware of all this. We cannot kill any beings. Even though we can afford a gun, it's not to focus on an animal which is innocent and kill them. We have no right to take lives when we cannot give life. That's the skin of an animal. And we have not taken the skin after the animal died, usually. We kill the animal for the skin. That's wrong. That's what's wrong with the shoes or belts or things which are sourced from animals. When somebody wanted to live and we deny that life, it's terribly unethical. So the ethics is not right when we take the skin of any being for our sake. When they wanted to live, they wanted to have a full life, they wanted to be free. We denied everything and then we consume it, either it's meat or it's skin or any products, and we think this is okay. Because we are human beings, we are superior. It's not so. Our superiority should be expressed in our compassion. The real superiority of human existence is in our continuous, consistent expression of compassion. Not like conquering and capturing and snatching things which belongs to somebody for our sake. So there is a big inequality here, injustice here. Religions are roadmaps, but beyond religion, there is a thing called conscience. That's individualistic. We should have conscience. When religions can say anything, there are roadmaps. They have certain things are okay, certain things are not okay. This is all religion based. But more than religion, I believe in humanity and ethics and conscience. Conscience is very important. That's the immune system of our mind. With conscience, you cannot harm anybody, hurt anybody. You cannot kill. You cannot inflict wounds on anybody. To keep the conscience intact. When conscience is intact, it becomes self-esteem. Our courage, our strength, our determination, our conviction, they are all completely protected, or like an armor. The conscience is the armor which prevents us from getting violated from the world outside. So the confidence level that comes from within has everything to do with the preservation of our conscience. So religions have spoken various things. Religions have spoken various things, and people over generations have interpreted, misinterpreted, and made a mess of many things also. So religions are roadmaps of somebody who found their way to supreme consciousness through this. And they said, I found the consciousness in this path. If you walk this path, you will also find it. This is what is religion. That's by some leader. This is perfect. It's okay. If somebody wants to follow it, there's no problem. But do not ever forsake humanity. Do not ever forsake conscience. When you hurt somebody, you are hurting yourself. When you harm something, you are harming yourself, harming your own conscience. And when conscience is died, then it's indifference, insensitivity. Then we stop being human beings. Then comes anger, hatred, greed, jealousy, comparisons, competition. We will be in that flat land. And then there's no recovery from it easily. So it's important that it's okay to follow any religion you want to follow. That's your personal choice. But it's more important to follow the religion called humanity. That's the best religion for human beings. First of all, there is no crime we are consuming every day. We are not consuming any crime or any violence every day. That's number one. Second is that whatever we are consuming has ethics behind it, so body accepts it. The system accepts it, and our body is very, very sensitive. Our body means a delicate assembly of earth, water, air, fire, and space. So everything is from this planet. It's assembled and it's a human body, and there is a thing called life and energy. So this energy is very neutral, very non-interfering, the energy within us, just like electricity. When the same electricity goes through a light, it becomes light. When it goes through a washing machine, it washes clothes. When it goes to a television, it shows pictures. Same like that, the energy within us, when it's in a tiger's body, it behaves like a tiger. When it's in an animal's body, in a cow's body, it behaves like a cow. When it is in a sheep's body, it behaves like a sheep. So same energy. The moment you start understanding that energy and you understanding the equality of all the beings around you, you become one with them. You connect to them more easily. And this is very essential today. So when you consume plant-based, you are not hurting anybody, any being. That's ethical for me. So this is fine. So we can do these things, and it completely enhances you, makes you light, makes you feel good, and also makes you feel very energetic. We'll be very energetic because there is no guilt in us. Even if people who do not know that meat means murder, still when they consume it, they feel the pain in some way. Sometimes we are insensitive to any of this, but the body definitely recognizes it. What has come into me has murder behind it. Body knows this. Body has its own consciousness. So body knows it. So when we consume guilt-free food, it enhances you, expands you, and also it makes you more stable on earth. And it's a beautiful feeling. You know, I would request everybody to try this so that you feel great, you feel amazing. And it's not like you don't have to compromise too much. There are this once you consume and you start feeling great, automatically you will follow that path. The plant-based is always connected to ethics. We should practice peace with our life to talk about peace in the world. We should also be living ethically to talk about ethics in the world. All these things are very important. We are definitely not an evolved species if we are in the same mindset where it's okay to kill animals, it's okay to use the skin of animals, it's okay to take a calf from a cow and stuff like that. Then we are definitely not an evolved species. We are an evolved species provided we use our higher intellect, higher imagination for the sake of the betterment of the world, including all the species on earth. If we are able to preserve them, love them, and protect them, then we are definitely an evolved species on earth. It includes the whale hunting, whales hunted in the oceans, amazing creatures. Thousands of dolphins are killed. beautiful creatures. They are all amazing beings. They have their individuality, personality, their greatness actually attached to it. But we are so indifferent towards their lives. We use them as commodities and we kill them, and this is all there. We are not being a developed species. We cannot claim to be greater than any of the species if we do these things. We should use our intelligence, our imagination, our power, our strength, our superior scientific explorations and inventions for the sake of preservation, kindness, compassion, inclusiveness. Then we are a great species. Society is our reflection. What we see in the society is what we are individually. Like if there are 3 million people, it's a 3 million people's expression that we see in this world. So when we all express kindness in this society, society will be peaceful, spontaneously. And when we continuously express kindness, it will also spread in other spaces. Like it becomes quite infectious. So kindness is a good sign of strength. Kindness, compassion, selflessness, they are all our strengths. It solidifies our personality. It makes our personality much stronger. So it's good to express that, and the society understands that, and everybody responds to kindness. Love. Today we are in a world where the word love itself is not understood. We only know love through the WhatsApp, the signs of love. We don't mean it usually. So the whole aspect has become pretty plastic or superficial. So it's time that we live a life of compassion, life of kindness, to tell the world what it feels like and how we can live it. This is a great possibility that we have. So individual transformation becomes social transformation. And for social transformation to happen, there has to be individual transformation. It never works other way around. Social transformations, because society is a cluster of people. The group of people coming together is society. So individually we should transform, and it should be around. First of all, we should remove all the divisions. We have 195 countries in the world. 195 countries are signs of divisions of mind based on language or religion or whatever you call it. So we need to unite this world as a mainland and talk the matters which will be helpful for them to survive or live a better life. A life of compassion, kindness, togetherness, unconditional love. All these are possible, and that should be inclusive of all species. Otherwise it doesn't work, because this is not just a human world. We are only one of the visitors here. I repeat the word visitors because we have a duration here. Yeah, we are here only between birth and death. We cannot stay longer, nor did we had any control on birth, no control on death. So both are pretty much accidental. And then we are existing here thinking we own this space and thinking that we can control this space, and final laugh will be with the earth. Earth will have the last laugh, because we are not above earth. We are not superior than earth. And earth is just one of the small balls in the whole planet or whole galaxy. So our whole understanding of this life and this earth and our relevance on the earth should be redefined. We should redefine the whole thing and make it as the highest potential of human existence. We are using so many gadgets, we have so much of inventions, so much of facilities. We can communicate into multiple languages, we can be heard in many places. We have to use all this to revive and raise the human awareness for the sake of the betterment of the planet, which is also the betterment or the benevolence of the entire creatures or the living beings of the world. The land doesn't belong to us, we belong to the land, because finally we have to leave this body here and the land takes over us also. So the power and presence of human existence is in the level of transformation that we can make in the society. With our life, if we can make a transformation in the society, if the society starts thinking in the way we think, towards ethics, towards morality, the change in morality, and the change in lifestyle and food habits, then we have done something in this world. Otherwise, we have lived and died, nobody knows. So many people are living and dying here, and they are just like bricks on the wall. Nobody knows that they lived at all. So it's important that we put our signature on earth. And that should be through our life, not our words. Our lifestyle, our life is the biggest message we can ever give to this earth. And that can lead to a social transformation. But when we live a life of stability, that's the real message. Where we do not have to kill anybody, hurt anybody, harm anybody, we don't need anybody's body, then that's a real strong message we are giving to the world. Self-sufficiency. First of all, thanks to PETA LA for having me here. It's really been wonderful, and I'm glad that we could speak. And we have work to do together, I feel. One message I would like to give to the world is be kind, be compassionate, and be sensitive. Always, before you consume anything, think about it. Is there a violence behind it? Am I sponsoring murder? Am I sponsoring the violence? Am I splitting any families? Am I being the cause for dividing families or bringing violence to some family? We need to think. We need to ask ourselves, am I in the right track? If at all, I need somebody's body for my survival. Am I thinking right? Am I being right? And the last part, I would like to say that we should forget about animal rights and human rights as separate. We should think about being right, and that's inclusive. Rights should be inclusive. We should never segregate between species. All the animals are outside and only human species now. That's the reason why we cannot ever connect to ourselves also. When we start connecting to the entire world, we see our own reflection in everywhere. Then as a human being, we will have an expanded consciousness. This is exactly what we are. This is the biggest gift we can give ourselves in a lifetime. Be kind, be loving, and support PETA.